Okay, hello, and welcome to this video. Today we are going to talk about linearity. Yes, we will speak about how to perform the linearities according to ICH, EMA, USFDA, and NVISA, and followed by we will also talk about three major challenges one has to face while performing the linearity study. So let us begin with the presentation. Yes, and here we go with the presentation. So this is the comparison of the linearity study design during the analytical method validation, right? In the first column, you will see the parameters like number of concentration, number of preparation per concentration. In the second column, you will see that the requirement given under the ICH, EMA, or USFDA, and these three guidelines talk about the same requirement, but there is some different requirement as per the NVISA Brazil. That is the last column. So when it comes to number of concentrations, how many concentrations they should be prepared? I mean number of levels for the linearity, five across the three ICH, USFDA, EMA, and also five as per the NVISA also. When it comes to number of preparation per concentration, ICH, USFDA, EMA talks about single preparation, but ANVISA Brazil talks about three number of different preparation. That means you need to prepare three different stock solutions by weighing three different standards. So you will have a three weighings followed by three stocks, and from that three stock, you can have the three different linearity solutions across your five different concentration levels. Then concentration range in case if you are performing the assay, it is 80 to 120% across the specification. Concentration range in terms of content uniformity 70 to 130% for all these four regulators. The concentration range for dissolution plus or minus 20% over the specification range. Common for ICH, USFDA, EMA, and NVISA. When it comes to concentration range for RS, this three regular ICH, USFDA, EMA says that reporting level to 120, but NVISA says that LOQ limit of quantitation to 120%. But in other words, these two reporting level and LOQ can be one and the same. So parameters to be evaluated: correlation coefficient, y-intercept, slope of the regression line, and residual sum of squares is the ICH, USFDA, and EMA requirement. When it comes to NVISA requirement, you will see that the coefficient of correlation, and they have given the limit that should be above 0.990, and determination of determination of coefficient, that is r square, and then the angular coefficient. So these are the requirement in terms of designing the linearity study. So let us understand what are the three important challenges one has to face. The first one is baseline noise, and I am speaking about the instrument method. Poor resolution between API and impurity. I am speaking about in terms of the HPLC method or gas chromatography method. Interference to impurity from other impurity standard. As you know that to prepare the linearity solution out of your impurities, you need to have a impurity standard solutions. So what happens in case if there is interference from one impurity coming at the retention time of another impurity? So let us understand one by one. What is the baseline noise? You can see that your baseline is not plain, but it is fluctuating up and down, maybe because of your detector is not stabilized properly. So there can be several reasons for that, but in case if your baseline is noisy, then certainly you are going to have a more concern at the lower concentration levels. So if you study, let us say, from LOQ to 120% in case of related substances, so just imagine, if your peak is coming at around this near my cursor, so there is already some response coming out of the detector, but which is not because of your analyte. So that response can get add up into the actual analyte response, and you will end up with little higher area for the lower concentrations, and that will add errors into the linearity study. So it is very important that in case if your baseline is not smooth, if it is noisy, you are going to have a problem during performing the linearity. So make sure that your detector is performing good. Your your baseline is plain and not having a noise in between. Poor resolution between API and impurity. Now, this is another important point that I would like you to understand clearly, that in case of related substances, and this can be the scenario that you have a poor resolution between API and the impurity because of maybe the 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 method's complexity, and another challenge is you are not able to resolve them very well, but you will be able to resolve them, let us say, with the resolution of 1.2 or 1.5. So if your impurity is eluting at the tailing of the API peak, what happens next? So while performing the linearity, in most of the cases, what people do, they prepare the API concentration with respect to not the sample concentration, but with respect to unknown impurities concentration. With respect to unknown impurities concentration. And if you see that, if they prepare the APIs at the unknown impurities concentration as seen in the green chromatogram, the response of API will go down. Absolutely, it is supposed to go down because the limit of unknown impurity is how much? Not more than 0.2% or maximum 0.5%. So the response, the concentration of API will be low, response will again low, and because of that, you can see a very good resolution between API and the impurities, right? As seen in the green colored chromatogram. But when you go to the real life scenario, your API is not going to remain at the unknown impurities concentration. But in case of the sample preparation, your response will be very high as shown in the black colored chromatogram. So what is the worst case scenario in this case? For the impurities integration, the API response is very, very crucial and critical. So if you want to go with the worst case scenario, you must perform the linearity of such impurity having the poor resolution between API and itself at the concentration of API at the sample concentration level, right? If you have, let us say, three impurities and two impurities are well separated from API, you can perform those two impurities linearity plus API's linearity in one study. Plus, for such kind of impurity which is poorly resolving from the API, you need to perform the another set of linearity, right? By having the concentration of API at sample level. Okay, so you can able to understand what is the impact of your API onto the integration of your impurity peak, so that you can able to relate the situation with the real life, right, which is the going to be a high concentration of API in the sample preparation. I hope you understand the reason behind performing the linearity separately for such kind of situation. The third can be interference to impurity from other impurity standards. Suppose you have three known impurities into a product, and you want to perform the linearity for these three impurities in a single run. You don't want to perform the linearity separately for impurity A, for B and C. But let us understand what happens. This is the impurity A standard. You injected the impurity A standard and you found that there is no another peak observed into the chromatogram of impurity A. Same thing for the impurity B. You do not find any another peak except impurity B peaks, of course. But in case of impurity C, what you have found that in the impurity C, you found a peak which is exactly eluting at the retention time of impurity A. It is not the impurity A. It is not the impurity A, but it may be some another impurity of impurity C. Now, in this situation, will you be able to perform the linearity of impurity A, B, and C in the single run by mixing them all together and then running the linearity study? Not possible, because if you do that, this response of the impurity of impurity C will get add on to the impurity A area, and that gives the false result. So for that reason, now you will be able to perform the linearity for impurity A and B in the single run, right, by mixing them all together. But for impurity C, you need to perform the separate linearity study because your impurity C standard is not pure. It has some amount of interference at the retention time of impurity A. Right? I hope you must have now understood, the three important challenges, right? The first one, we talked about the baseline noise, how it can impact onto the linearity, very especially at the lower concentration. Then we talked about the poorly resolving impurity in case of poorly resolving impurities from the APIs, right? The shoulder peaks, the impurity peaks eluting at detailing, how to perform the linearity study. And the third one is in case if there is interference to impurity from another impurity standard, then what design you must adopt. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will meet you soon with such kind of useful and informative videos. Till then, take care and bye bye.